Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Shri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Sarva Maharshibhyo Namaha. The rewards of such worship are conferred by the Lord Himself. 22nd Shloka. Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktastasya Radhanamihate Labhate cha tatah kaman Mayaiva hi vihitan hitan. Substance. Endowed with faith, he engages in the worship of his chosen deity and from that obtains his desires, this being ordained by me alone. Commentary. Whatever rewards the devotee obtains by faithful worship of the Devas, all of them are ordained by the Lord Himself. So, though the rewards appear to flow from any particular deity, they have their source in the Lord and are determined by Him alone. The Lord is the highest authority in this universal government. Indra, Varuna, Vasu, Agni, and other devas are functionaries occupying different positions and wielding different powers. All these are determined by the Lord Himself. These elemental forces act according to His will. They derive their power, position, and authority from Him. Their field of work, the nature, and the extent of their power, what they can do, and the whole system is ordained by the Lord. So, any gift received from any Deva, Indra, Varuna, or Kubera, etc., comes from the Lord and is ordained by him. The wise man approaches the Lord himself, and the partially wise seek fulfillment from other Devas, who are but agents of different powers of God Himself. Question. What does the devotee do? Answer. He worships the Devas with faith. Question. What does he obtain by it? Answer. The fulfillment of his desires. Question. Who ordains the law of worship and reward? Answer. The Supreme Being. So it is from him that the devotee receives the rewards of his worship through the medium of different Devas. The rewards of other devas are perishable. Moksha is the reward of the Supreme Lord. 23rd Shloka. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan devayejo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Substance. The fruit of these men of little wisdom is finite indeed. Those who worship the Devas go to the Devas, and my devotees go to me verily. Commentary. Those who worship other Devas are men of little intelligence because their exertion yields only very temporary and perishable rewards like worldly prosperity, wealth, power, and position. It is only the unawakened, the dull brains that can think of these finite things, letting go the infinite benefit of true knowledge and devotion. He who seeks a small pond when the sacred Ganges is flowing by, he who leaves the wish fulfilling plant of heaven and goes to a small tree tempted by its half sweet, half bitter fruits. Such is the man who forgets the Supreme Lord and devotes himself to the worship of the lesser deities for the purpose of enjoying small gifts and pleasures. High or low, whatever is seen, Drishya, perishes. Be he Indra or Vasu, what does the not perish is Atma, the seer, Drik. All else is subject to death. Therefore, the wise seek for the imperishable. The object of worship determines the goal of the devotee. The worshippers of the Devas go to the Devas, of the Rakshasas to the Rakshasas, of the Pitrus to the Pitrus. So the seeker has to make his choice after careful discrimination. The teacher of the Gita declares that those who worship him go to him, the Supreme Lord. Question. What is the reward of those who worship the Devas? Answer: finite, having an end. Question: who are those that seek for it? Answer: men of small intelligence. Question: to whom do they go? Answer: to the Devas. Question: who reaches the Supreme Lord? Answer: those who worship the Supreme Lord reach him. The ignorant do not understand the Lord's higher nature. 24th Shloka. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavam ajananto mamavyayamanuttama. Substance. Those devoid of knowledge think of me, the unmanifested, as having name and form, not knowing by imperishable, supreme, and transcendental nature. Commentary. The Lord is really formless and universal. He is transcendental, beyond Maya, infinite and eternal. For the purpose of protecting the righteous and punishing the wicked and establishing Dharma, he takes birth in this world. As Maya is under his control, the power of adopting or discarding his form is his own power. When the Lord thus incarnates himself as a separate individual, his immortality is not at all affected. The separate form as Krishna or Rama is his own creation, and when the purpose of his avatara is fulfilled, the form is dissolved and he remains the eternal. The devotees are blessed by such avataras. But unfortunately, the ignorant men of little intelligence consider the name and form of the Lord as his real nature, and so they do not find him different from other mortals. No doubt the devotees are endowed with faith and devotion when they see the manifestation of the Lord as Rama or Krishna. But they should know the higher nature, Parabrahman, as the Lord, and should not get confused. Four attributes are mentioned about the higher nature of the Lord. He is unknowable, avyakta. He is transcendental, param. He is imperishable, avyayam. He is supreme, anuttamam. He is unknowable by the senses and the mind. The phenomenal world is visible to the senses and comprehensible by the mind. If the Lord also is a composition of the elements, he would dissolve like any other mortal form. But he is imperishable. He is subtler than any other. The material sky, Akasha, is itself invisible, and so how can the Lord, whose nature is more subtle, Chidakasha, be an object of perception? He is the whole universe, but he is at the same time not bound by physical laws because he is transcendental. Since he is beyond time and place, and is uncontaminated by material elements, since he is not subject to dissolution like other things, he is described as supreme, most excellent, Anuttama. It should be clearly understood that this verse is not a disparagement of the worship of the different manifestations of the Lord in temples and images. The common devotee must go through the process of fixing some form of the Lord in the mind and worshipping him in that manner. But he should not stop there. As his vision enlarges and his devotion deepens, he will naturally evolve towards the transcendental perfection of the Lord. Devotion of this type is commendable. What is condemned here is to attribute mortality to the Lord and regard him to be no more than a man. Shishupala could see Lord Krishna as a cowherd boy and nothing more. It was Bhishma who could understand the transcendental nature of the Lord. While he appeared in the beautiful form of Krishna, Bhishma could worship the Lord as Krishna and at the same time know that he is the imperishable Paramatma. Ravana could think of Sri Rama only as a mortal, subject to death like any other. But sages like Vasishtha and others could understand that Sri Rama is the Lord himself, appearing as a prince of Ayodhya. It is this understanding which is suggested in this verse for the guidance of all seekers. Question: what is the real nature of the Lord? Answer: it is unmanifest, transcendental, imperishable, and supreme. Question: who thinks of the Lord as the mortal? Answer: the ignorant with deluded understanding.